Two-parter for you. When you were at Goldman, what did you do to help rise to the top? And I've heard you talk about it before, but what was the breakthrough that helped you go from your business being at 300 million to 2.5 billion?
So at Goldman, I started as a salesman. I like talking. I'm a good talker. And my boss sent me out to Asia. And at one point he asked me to, I made a lot of money and I was complaining that there was a kid that was trading my age and he got paid like 10 times more than me. And I was like, that's bullshit. And he said, well, it's a lot easier to sell than to trade. And I was like, I'll trade. And so I switched over and took this painful journey of trying to understand how markets work. And I was lucky because I was in an amazing, fertile place as far as mentors. And I always tell people steal mentorship. You don't need the guy sitting next to you telling you everything. You can find mentors on TV and books. You can find mentors in your clients as your friends, right? On YouTube. I'm shocked that, I shouldn't say I'm shocked. I was happy to see how good the technical analysis that you guys were putting out here for free was, right?
Thank you.
Laying out good info to people that are listening. And so I found great mentors, and it took me a while to understand why I was winning. And so I was scared all the time. And it wasn't conscious fear. It would show up in my body, and I would disconnect. But at the end of the week, I'd get a massage, and the guy would go like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm good." He's like, "I've never seen a back like this." Or I'd go drink, and I would drink so much I'd turn purple, and show up. And so I left Goldman Sachs. I started a hedge fund, and I was sitting with this Israeli general, ex-prime minister, who said, "You're not so smart, but you're lucky." And he told me this story about Napoleon saying, "I don't hire smart generals, I hire lucky ones." And that what he meant was they had a battlefield, they could see the battlefield in their head. They had an intuition of when to go, when not to go. They had a charisma on how to lead. They had all these skills that we didn't have a word for, therefore we called it luck. And he was like, "No, Rich, you're like that. And you're not very smart, but you're lucky." And for some reason that liberated me. I was like, this is why I was a good salesman, because I saw the world right. This is why I'm a good trader. And believing that I was good, the belief system that, my process of taking information and processing it won more than it lost. The moment I could free myself to say, I'm good at this. And really believe it, like sit in a closet by myself and think, if they took everything but a Bloomberg with a chart, I could still make a living. My pattern recognition works. That gave me so much confidence to tell the story to my investors about how I was going to make them money. The year before, I'd have a big Russian ruble position, and I wouldn't remember the finance minister's name. And you might be an investor, and I'll be sitting here literally quaking, thinking he's going to ask me the finance minister's name, and I don't know it. And I was all scared about that. Well, the next year I was like, I don't need to know the finance minister's name for my kind of investing. And so I learned to own my own style. What I said early on, there's many paths to Buddhahood. You got to own your own style. You got to understand. And that comes from hard work and discipline. The thing that has stopped me from, I always think I'm really good, and I got a few friends that are great. And the gap between really good and great is just discipline. It's doing the same thing the same way. It's showing up in the morning early. It's not going out so late that you're like, oh, I'm so hungover, I can't even see the screens. It is a disciplined process, like a ritual that you go through. If you're going to trade 50 assets, you better look at those daily charts every day. Yeah. You better look at the weekly charts once a week. You look at the monthly charts once a month. You don't need to look at the weekly charts every day. They don't change that quick, right? But how many of you guys or your listeners who think they're traders actually look at their asset, their 50 assets they might trade, the chart every day?
Not many.
Yeah, Mike, if we can, we want to get a couple of questions, but before we do that. You said something that was very important. You said you was surprised that there's so much information for free. So I just want to remind the public, like, this is, a lot of times we get spoiled. Even anybody can get spoiled, especially when you're giving things for free and you don't fully appreciate the value of it. And it's important to keep things in perspective and to understand that, this is a high level education every day, every week, for free for over 53 weeks. So, just keep that in mind. This is coming from somebody who's a billionaire. So, just have a certain level. And all we ask is to like the video. 7,500 people, but there's only 1,800 likes.
You do the math on that.
Vote with your likes, please. Mike,
Don't even
Hold
make
on,
any
start
sense.
liking it. Start liking it.